When it comes to getting advice on love, celebrities like to listen closely.
I can't understand you. Read it.
They like to listen closely to their mums.
Okay.
Sometimes, Matt, a little too closely.
A little bit too closely, as stars like Blake Lively and Ashley Cole have found out to their peril. If you fail to charm the mother, you can wave goodbye to the future.
We'll be speaking to our relationship expert, Simone Bien, about this in just a moment. She is lovely.
Amazing.
But first, here's her rundown of celebrity meddling mums.
Mosh.
It takes more than just supermodel good looks and a killer bod to marry a man like Leonardo DiCaprio. Of course, that all helps, and it certainly gave Blake Lively a foot in the door. But that's as far as she got because she failed to charm his mum. According to a close friend, Leo's ma Ermeline was less than impressed with Blake after the Gossip Girls spent most of their meeting bragging about her career. And Leo obviously values his mum's opinion because he and Blake are now rumoured to have split. But it's not just Blake who's fallen foul of the mother. Ashley Cole knows how it feels to struggle to get on with his missus's mum. When his marriage to Cheryl Cole hit the rocks in 2008, his mother-in-law Joan moved in with them. She was said to be there to keep a close eye on Ash following rumours of his infidelity. But it did little to help, and when his marriage collapsed 2 years later, Ashley privately put it down to Joan. He allegedly told his mates that living with his mother-in-law had taken the spark from their marriage. Well, they do say three's a crowd. Kris Jenner is another mother making her mark on her daughter's relationship. Kim Kardashian is still a month away from getting married to her fiancé Chris Humphries, but her mum has already taken control of the wedding, making sure that Kim doesn't spend too much on the big day. Chris must be hoping that his mother-in-law won't be quite so involved in the actual marriage. Of course, there are some celebs who get on very well with their partner's mum. Since marrying Russell Brand, Katy Perry has become very close to her mother-in-law, Barbara Brand. Katy says she speaks to her mother-in-law every day, and the two are now great pals. So if you fancy the idea of marrying a celeb, it's not just the paparazzi you'll have to contend with. You could have a feisty mother-in-law on your hands too.
So, Simone, lots of great examples there in your report. Thank you very much for that. So, Blake didn't make it work. Ashley didn't make it work. Just how important is it to get on with the in-laws?
Well, when you fall in love with someone, there is nothing you can do about it. The parents come as part of the package, which, of course, is great if you get on with them because that can provide a whole load of emotional support to the relationship. But when you don't get on with them, of course, the reverse is true. And in fact, studies have shown, and I think this is quite shocking, that 2/3 of British wives have actually said that their mother-in-laws, or mills as I like to call them, have created long-term unhappiness for them. Which
That's
is
a lot. That's a
lot,
huge
isn't it?
percentage.
That is,
Not a nice place to be.
Yeah.
So some mothers really get involved, you know, in relationships. How is that disturbing, or is it a good thing?
I like that word, disturbing.
Disturbing.
I'm going to use that more
I've
often.
got previous.
It is a little bit disturbing because you need your kids to go out into the big wide world on their own and make their own mistakes. Otherwise, they're never going to grow up. And it's not good for the parent either. They need to live their own life. And it's the only way that you can break, you know, the chains from mummy and daddy. If mum and dad keep interfering, you're never going to be able to sort of learn to make your own decisions.
Now, I can't imagine making this work, but Cheryl did it. She moved her mum in.
Yeah.
J-Lo had her mum living with her and Mark
That didn't
Anthony.
work.
What kind of problems can in-laws make for the relationship?
Well, the relationship is between two people, so it completely changes the balance of things when you've got a third person. And in America, they actually call them stalker mums, you know, because they're always watching every move, you know. So I think it's really important to not have that pressure on your relationship. And also, I never thought I would agree with anything Ashley Cole would say. Honestly, I didn't. But here is the thing. It affects your love life because if your mum's down the corridor, how sexy are you going to feel? Not very.
Yeah.
No, I can't
So what
imagine
advice
that.
would you give to the Ashleys out there, to everybody out there who's in a regular situation, who's got a nightmare of an in-law?
Usually it gets better over time, and just remember you two are the reason you are together. Support each other, be a united team, and do anything you can to try and create a relationship. Find out if they like football or making cakes, whatever it is, try and create a connection and just keep working at it because it is good to have your mother-in-law
on your side.
Yeah,
And
it's
just
very handy.
quickly, earlier we were talking about Mark Anthony being jealous of J-Lo and her skimpy outfits. What advice would you have to somebody in that position? I don't think it's on.
It's difficult.
It's not on. And listen, anyone at home watching, really beware, because if a guy tries to change you or a woman tries to change a guy, it is not good for a relationship. It's quite controlling behaviour, and it's not normally an isolated experience. It normally starts off with the clothes, then goes to the friends, then goes to work. It builds and builds. Even cutting off your family, it's not good. Don't listen to that kind of advice.
It's typical, isn't it? It is typical in a relationship that people change when they get married.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but come on. I mean, Mark Anthony, if we're talking about them, knew exactly what J-Lo was like.